Chaim, Sandy, my friends. I think you've had a lot of speeches this morning.
Half of will be planned, so we are like...
People didn't. All right. So I wanted to add a couple of things. One is that just 2 days ago, Cohen's biographer, Sylvie Simons, quoted Cohen as saying, "Asking me about being Jewish is like asking fish how they feel about water." So Cohen was Jewish through and through. I think we all sense that. I first, believe it or not, encountered him. I knew about him, but then I was teaching a class at Loyola Marymount University, a Catholic university, on Judaism and Islam, with a Muslim friend of mine, a professor, who was born in Canada. So he began the first class. The class was comprised of Jews and Muslims. And he began the class by playing Leonard Cohen's music in class. So I understood something about Cohen that I think is very telling, and you only heard that from Mel, which is that although Cohen was Jewish through and through, he was also universal. His message was universal. That, it seems to me, is the task of the modern human being and the modern Jew. Can you be very Jewish and can you be a human being simultaneously? And Cohen was that. The choice often that we make, that we think is open to us, is a polar choice, a binary choice, either Jewish or universal. And today especially, there are pressures in Jewish society that actually judge you if you're not loyal enough to what is thought to be the expectation of being Jewish, right? Then you're judged to be a traitor. So Cohen taught us that that binary is unnecessary. It's destructive. It undermines the message and the possibility and the potential that you have to transmit a message beyond your own nose. Because if you talk to yourself, then what wisdom do you have? Who knows about it? How do you talk about what you know to other people? So Cohen translated Judaism through music. And ask any musician, music transcends boundaries. There are no boundaries in music. That's why it's so significant in our lives. We need music to get out of ourselves and to be able to be connected to others. So Cohen was a connector. He himself in his own life represented that type of connection. I also was going to comment about the crack and the light, because it's so, it is the Kabbalistic doctrine of Shvirat HaKelim. Those of you who know a little bit about Kabbalah and Lurianic teaching. Just think about this. Leonard Cohen, popular singer, a learned man, a great poet, not a great voice, but a neshama that transcended it all. Right? He had a soul. In that soul, all was united, the good and the bad, the Jew and the other. So that's a rare combination, and that's something that I think we need to contemplate. I want to say a couple of other things. The last album that he produced, You Want It Darker. So the album, although Mel has talked about psychologically about the fact that we have to be able to accept the darkness in our own lives, I think Cohen also wanted us to understand the darkness in our society. We live in a world with a lot of darkness. How do you live with darkness without it overwhelming you? So Cohen actually taught. He was our Rebbe. By the way, he was known, right? Willie is here. Rebbe Eliezer, right? Eliezer HaKohen. I mean, not so simple, Leonard Cohen. Eliezer HaKohen. And so people knew him. And so he knew himself. He named himself that way. He wanted to be known, always, in that fashion. So what he taught us was how to embrace life, even though we confront death, how to see light, even in the midst of darkness, right? And how to see love, even when there's hate. He taught us, by the way, that life is filled with uncertainty. It's a great lesson. Too much of religion is involved in teaching people certainty. That's not the truth, I'm sorry to say. Life is filled with uncertainty. How do you confront the vagaries of life if you're not prepared to deal with what happens to you that you couldn't predict? So that's what Cohen sung about. That's what he was teaching us all the time. So Chaim is exactly right when he said that we have to preserve Cohen's music and his concerts, not so much because we have to keep on singing, we have to understand the message, we have to study the message. No, in the last album, in the song about darkness, right, Cohen was offering a commentary on the Akedah, on the binding of Isaac. How many times, anyone know, how many times is the word Hineni mentioned in the song? Because he says Hineni. How many times? 3 times. Why 3 times? Because Hineni appears 3 times in the chapter in Bereshit. Abraham says Hineni to God, he says Hineni to Yitzchak, and he says Hineni to the angel. So Cohen understands the Akedah as a dark chapter. Father is commanded to kill his son. It's a chapter that brings together the tension between darkness and light. And we emerge out of what seemed to be the potential murder and catastrophe, the end of the Jewish people before it even began, with life. Not only with life, but with a certain sense that I think Cohen would agree with me. What we understand from that chapter is God would never want us to kill in the name of God. That's a mistake. Anybody who thinks that religion tells them to kill is absolutely violating the very principle and notion of a God of life. So Cohen understood that. And he wanted us to be able to sort of dig deeply. Last thing I want to say is that I'm here. I'm connected to Hillel for many years. I think now it's already 45 years that I've been working in Hillel. But I'm here because of a commitment that I've made to Limmud FSU. And when I think about how Cohen is teaching about how to focus on the light amidst the darkness, what image I have is of rebirth. And Limmud FSU is about Tchiyah. It's about the rebirth of a community of people who came out of darkness and were given a potential for renewal. And the people who made that happen are sitting here with us, Chaim and Cindy, among a group of people who really work very hard all the time. And I hope that it would be a model for us how to really revive a community and to maintain and sustain an active Jewish life into the future. Thank you very much.
Look, whenever Chaim speaks, the light comes up. Chaim, thank you very much. Never